What's up guys, it's Nikits and welcome back to another video. So for today's video, I'm going to be continuing with my character redesign series. My first character redesign video is up on my channel directly before this one if you'd like to go watch it. It's of my character Ferrier, and this one will be of my long-standing OC, Kagan. Now, this is far from the first time that I've tried to design Kagan as a character. I have multiple character sheets for him going back all the way to middle school when I was making my first OCs, and he means very much to me. So when I was making this, I really wanted to try to do him justice, and I was hoping that I would settle on a design that I was really happy with and that I could stick with, hopefully up to production of the story that he's in. But of course, I am not only indecisive but growing as an artist and as a storyteller, and unfortunately I'm going to have to redesign him again and everyone else very soon. But for now, I thought it'd be really interesting to go through my process and show you what I went through to try to get a base character design for this character that I love so much. So what I have here is 3 outfits and different renditions of Kagan drawn over a base. I'll talk more about his story in the second when I get to his character profile, the finished mock-up that I did, but for now, all I wanted to do was get through a bunch of aesthetics and get a bunch of different styles and hair colors, skin colors, clothes out of my system so that I knew that I was exhausting all of my possibilities for this character so that I wasn't missing anything that would be a really great idea later on, and so that I could make sure that this is what I wanted for this character and that I was sure about the direction that his aesthetic was going. So you can see the base drawn here underneath, just to make sure that I have his general body type and a pose for me to quickly do different renditions over. I made sure for each different time that I did him that I gave him a very different skin color, hair color, and overall color palette and aesthetic from the Kagan next to it, so that I wouldn't be stuck choosing between drawings that are different but not necessarily better than the other. You want them to have noticeable differences and to be notably different, preferably in both silhouette and style, especially towards the beginning, so that you don't become stagnant too quickly. So once I had about 6 of these different designs, I started to compile and tweak the ones that I liked into different versions of each other, just mixing and matching what I liked. So I took a bag from one, I took the hair color from another. I settled pretty quickly on his skin tone. I wanted him to have that vaguely Native American looking darker and more red-toned skin, so many of the iterations that I ended up going with will have that skin color. I really didn't want to whitewash him from my original idea of him being Native American, and I also just thought it suited him better and felt more earthy, which is important to his general design later. And then once I had the 4 that I liked the best all compiled into one place, I went through and I tried to decide which one was better, which one felt more like Kagan, what felt more like his aesthetic, his personality, which conveyed his general position in life better, and I went in and tried to tweak anything that I didn't like. So you can see me reverting back to that deep earthy skin tone and the brown hair, just because I really loved the way that looked, and it's the way I've had him designed for a long time now, and I've grown really attached to it. And after allowing myself to really explore a bunch of different skin tones and hairstyles, I decided that this really was the best one for him, which is nice to know. It's nice to know that I was going down the right path with his general base there. So I started adding details to this one third from the left because I had decided that it was my favorite from the ones that I was looking at. The blue one felt too posh and more like a light or an angel, prince, or something like that. The second one from the left was a little bit too slouchy, too comfortable. It didn't give that upright feeling that I know that he has to his character, and the one to the right was just a little bit too edgy for him. I didn't want him to seem like some huge edgelord and stuff like that, but as you can see, I completely negated that by exploring the cape on that third one, which I very quickly just got rid of because it doesn't suit him very well. It looks really cool though, so I don't know. And right here, I'm going to be doing the mock-ups, so now I can talk about the decisions that I made. I decided to give him his longer hair out of the ones that I chose because not only is it a little bit reminiscent of the Native American tradition of having long hair and hair being sacred and not cutting it, it also just suits him very nicely. I think it frames his face very well, and it gives him a slightly effeminate vibe to him, which I really wanted him to have as royalty. I wanted him to have a little bit of that more effeminate vibe that a lot of princes tend to get in their character designs, because I'm a big fan of that. So I gave him that longer hair. He has a very slender but not weak looking body type. He seems to have apparent muscle and he seems to be fit, but he's by no means a bulky boy. And he's very tall. If I can just sketch the legs in, thank you. You don't need shorts yet. He's very tall. He comes in around 6'1", 6'2", in the canon of my universe. So I tried to stretch the legs a little bit to make sure that his proportion was matching to what I had in mind. And I eventually move on to adding the actual design. So Kagan is an earth elemental with a deer companion, and I had a predetermined notion in mind that his base, so things like his hair type, his hair color, his skin color, and any additional features that would be part of his natural body would be reminiscent of deer. So I'm giving him freckles here to remind me of the white-tailed deer, for example. And I wanted anything that was naturally him to resemble his companion, his animal companion. And then all of his clothes would be based off of being an earth elemental, so he would be more earthy. There would be a lot of greens, and it would look a little bit more, I guess a little bit farmer-esque is a way to put it. So here I'm coloring him in. I still went with that deep red skin tone, which I really like. I did darken up his hair a little bit after this illustration. Oh no, it's in this illustration, my bad. I did darken up the line art for his hair a little bit because I wanted it to have a more true tone and to stand out more from his skin so that it really framed his face. And I tried to give him a warm, earthy color palette, both because he's an earth elemental and because he has a earthy deer as his companion, and I wanted them to resemble each other quite a lot. I gave him green eyes, just another reference to the whole leaf motif of earth elementals and stuff like that, and I also think it's very pretty, especially with his red toned skin. I lengthened his hair because I wanted to really push that effeminate vibe, but I go back and forth with how long I want it to be, and eventually I settled for about mid-back. I'm just trying to make it look more natural here so that it looks more like his hair. I put the hair back later, I believe. For his shirt, I went with the design that I was tweaking in the earlier concept sketches, so I went with the long sleeve v-neck. It looks a little bit softer. I tried to add some creases so that the fabric would look less stiff, so it doesn't look like some sort of button up. It's very much a cotton style tee. And just the long pants. I tried to give him clothes that would make him feel a little bit closed off from other people so they don't expose a lot of skin. He's not super into that whole thing of making himself bare, and he has a slightly more formal look. I gave him a bag so that he could carry all the things that he would need while he was traveling and collecting things from the earth and things around him, and I tried to give him a deeper, earthier color palette. and when I was done, it looks like this. So I'm really happy with the way this one turned out. I am going to be redesigning him soon, but I went back in and changed his shirt to be more green so that it was more elemental. I put a leaf sign behind him instead of his animal companion like the others because I felt like he didn't need it to complete his color scheme, and overall I just think he looks really nice, and being that he's one of my baby OCs, even if it's not a perfect character design, it made me really happy to do, and that's what matters in the end. So, that's the end of this character design video. Unorse's video will be up next Thursday, and then I will be starting yet another series on this channel, just so I can have a few running. But if you'd like to check out the series I've already done, or any videos already in this series, you can check out the 2 videos over there on the left. There will be a button for you to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like this video, and have a lovely day. Bye!